Hello guys, welcome back. Welcome back to the land of crazy, where you have to hug foxes just to get through the day. I had a really disturbing nightmare this morning. At first, it felt like a dream because I woke up feeling okay, and the more I thought about it, the more it was like a nightmare. And I think it stemmed from like getting Thor and then playing a game about non-attachment. That's like two terrible things, like two opposing forces hitting each other. Um, Basically, I had a mother, but it was a goddess in Japanese robes, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat my words. She was the ugliest woman I've ever seen. And I'm usually not unkind like that, but she was like ugly, purposely ugly. And I asked her if she could heal me, so she took off her left breast, and she said, "Drink out of this, and you'll be better." I don't know if I drank or not. I purposely blocked that part out, but I was wandering through the house with it, freaking out. And I went upstairs and tried to hide it in a trash can. And when I put it in the trash can transformed into a long altar with a skeleton on it. And it all burnt up because it had to be burnt out. And I was just freaking out. And she was my mother now, and she took over my old bedroom, and she put 3 beds in there. And there were other stuff going on in the dream too, and the thing of it was I absolutely hated her. I didn't want her in my house. I was like, it wasn't anything to do with being ugly, it was just the kind of energy she was putting out. And then I woke up today and I played that game again that we played with the foxes, and I found out that it works a lot better with the controllers, and I found out the end of the game, even though the game never ends. And it was about do what you want. And I'm like, okay. And I felt this goddess following me around all day, just scaring the living hell out of me. Very scary, very intimidating, very like tall and lean looking, and she's like, "It's 'cause I'm ugly, isn't it?" And I'm like, "No, it's 'cause you're scary and aggressive. That's what it's from." And she just kept following me around all day and being really persistent. And I finally looked at her and I said, "You know, all the times I tried to work with you over the years, and you were too good to be here. And now you're here after I've finally let it go and you want in." I said no. And then like I changed my mind, and she'd be in and then she'd be out. And what really sunk her ship was that I saw an article written by her. There's only one person that I could find that was consistently vocal about her. They do everything the right way. We know I have trouble with the right way. I am a Lokean. And I absolutely did not want to work with her at that point, because I'm thinking, I can't work with her. I can't work with her. I can't do exact anything. I cannot do this. It's against my nature. I have to have free form, do it as I will, when I will worship. I don't want her around. I don't like her at all. So that, like, because the goddess I thought I was attracted to, or divine being, whatever you want to say, was totally different from the divinity this person was speaking about. So I was like, "Get out of my house. I don't want you." And that's very disrespectful, but I didn't feel comfortable with her energy. And we even tried to do a thing where she picked out her own stuff out of the house, so she wasn't going to be any cost and any trouble. And we tried moving her in with Azili, which by the way is wrong. If you read these woman's articles, you know that's entirely wrong. She needs her own altar, or she'll be highly insulted. They say the same thing about Azili, but Azili's like a mama to everyone around here. And Azili didn't like her idea of like where we initially set her up. It just didn't seem comfortable. Like, I have to do the thing now where you do it in voodoo, and voodoo songs are going to hear me on this. You have so many gods, they all get like a one little tiny patch of the altar, and that's yours, and no one else can be there. Yeah, that's where I am at this point. And even though they welcomed her in, they're like, "Why aren't you celebrating?" And it's like, Because the person that wrote about her, that's such an expert, they wrote about Loki as well. And I'm like, if Loki is and I'm not saying they don't know Loki, they obviously do, but if Loki is in a relationship with this person, he has to know I don't have that in me. I'm not good at perfection. I suck at perfection. Screwing stuff up, if there's a goddess of that, that's my goddess. So I told him, I said, no, I can't do this. I said, the only reason I can work with Papa Dembala is because he's okay. He understands when stuff goes wrong. He understands my physical limitations and my poor health, and I can't be cleaning a shrine every day or even like once a week or maybe once a month. There are times that, because of my disabilities, I only go in the rooms where I need to go. So I might not enter my living room for like a month, or I might not enter my other bedroom for a couple months. So it's like there's absolutely no sense having active open shrines in these places because I'll never maintain them. And this person was going on about the clean water and everything, and I'm like, no, I'm like starting to cry as I'm reading the article because I'm like, I know I will never do that. So she kept trying today, and I kept telling her no, and even we had went on Amazon, I'd picked something out, and it's gonna come, but it was kind of supposed to be like a gift to welcome her, but I don't think it's going to work out. I'm just way too stressed out, and even, Oya had asked, Oya's like, what's wrong with you? First you're, all purring and practically in her lap, and then you're like, get away from me. And I said, one, this is typical with me. Like, a god will come and I'll love them, and then 30 seconds later I'm having a panic attack because of my social anxiety. I said, it's actually normal for me. With the courtship, the gods get kind of scratched up. I don't do it on purpose, but it's like I will hiss and hide under the furniture and think about life for a while. And I just told her, I said, I know if I keep talking to you, sooner or later this person's going to end up on this channel. I have a lot of foresight when it comes to bad stuff. Bad stuff I can have foresight on. Not like anything for like anyone else before you ask. But for myself, I'm like, I can see this train a-coming. It's coming at me, it's gonna hit me, and it's gonna hurt really bad, and I'm gonna get messed up, and it's gonna be all my fault. So because that person was so vocal about her and stressed about doing everything correctly, and they're also associated with Loki, which means they may or may not have been on this channel at some point, I'm like, no, I'm sorry, sweetie, but I cannot have you in this house. I'm not comfortable with you. I'm not happy with you. I don't care if I love you. I just can't meet your standards. Your standards are way too above me. Plus she needs stuff like sake and tea, and let's admit it, my lazy ass will make you coffee because that's what I'm having. So, yeah, in rice, and like suddenly, even though I buy rice in 5-pound sacks, suddenly I hated rice. Like, if I have to do it, I won't do it. If I have to change my lifestyle, I won't do it. If it's something I just normally do anyways, it's okay. And, like, suddenly I hated tea and everything else. I, like, made her squeeze tea. We tried today. But, like, the only practical food I had was, like, pizza. So, yeah, I offered a nori cheese pizza and squeeze bottle iced tea that probably had artificial sweetener in it. I'm like, that's a fill. That's a fill. So Inari was here for like all day, and I just kept stressing out and like, having near panic attacks and saying, no, I can't do this. And I let you guys know when stuff goes good, and I let you know when I horribly screw it up. So I horribly screwed this one up. Loki's not mad. He's like, I kind of expected this. We all get that one god or goddess that it's kind of like we're like a little puppy and they're calling us and like patting the ground and everything. We run over to them, and then all of a sudden we're terrified because they're so much bigger than us, so we run away and hide. And she felt aggressive, and not Santa Muerte aggressive. Santa Muerte was aggressive, but kind of, she's deaf, so she kind of has that appeal. If you work with her, you know what I mean. Not like everybody wants to die real fast, but kind of alluring. Like, if you read into Mexican culture, like that allure of death and everything, she can work her wiles on you and, be very charming and sweet and coquettish and everything as she has to be. She can also be, a tough working woman, but Santa Muerte can turn on the charm and get what she wants. That is why she's La Regina around here. And, like, when I was trying to hang up lights for Inori, a disaster happened with Santa Muerte's altar, and I had gotten her permission and Papa Dambala's permission to, like, have his lights, and everything was going to hell in a handbasket. And I'm like, that's a sign, because one of the lights was, like, actually broken off of his light thing, and we tried to replace it, and we have no lights to replace it. I was like, this is a sign. Everything is going straight to hell when I'm trying to set up an altar for her and, like, trying to welcome her in, and it was just all wrong, and I didn't feel good about it. So, she will not be coming in. It's kind of a shame, because the game I showed you, once I started playing it the right way, like, there was, like, a bell, kind of like a temple bell in one place I hadn't noticed. And once it started to fly, and I realized I could pick up everything. You pick up gems, apples, and toadstools. I do not know why, because the final message of this game is up on a hilltop. Do what you want to do. That's the final message of this game. Do what you want to do. And I'm like, I want to run away right now and hide. Because this is, like, way, way, way too much. People that do work with Inori take it, like, very extremely, extremely seriously. And they will tell you why you shouldn't mix their beliefs with paganism and why you shouldn't mix it with witchcraft. And I'm like, okay, this is not the goddess for me. I did find one other writer who started off as an atheist after having been raised, Christian like I was, gone through abuse, became an atheist, and got called by Inori, but they, like, wrote exactly one article. And it was interesting because they were, LGBT like me, and they said they found Inori to be very accepting, and Inori is the patron of prostitutes, among other things, like sake, rice, foxes, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. And, you would think it would be a great fit, but just because it's kind of like I remember seeing a transgender person absolutely explode when they were told they should work with Loki because they absolutely hated the idea of having God forced on them. And I think I kind of had the same reaction. I was like, I know where the person was coming from. They found it a wonderful experience to work with her, but I don't know. Maybe in a past life I died horribly in Japan because I love Japanese culture and I'm strongly attracted to it. But when it comes to the gods, all of a sudden I'm, like, having panic attacks and running away. I'm like, what? Was I the last human sacrifice in Japan? Why do I hate these gods so much? Not hate, but more like I will, like, run away from them. If I thought one was within a 1,000-mile radius of me, I would be jumping on my seat and running. So it's kind of a weird reaction. I think because a lot of the believers in Japan truly believe that you have to be Japanese living in Japan for these gods to work with you, and they will not work with anyone else. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot of racism in it, and there's a lot of elitism in it, and there's a lot of do things just so in it, and that's not me. I fight so hard for Loki and trying to show people you don't have to be some kind of swastika-wearing bigot to work with the Norse gods, that I don't have anything left in the tank for any other gods. So, yeah, that was this beginning and end of Inori coming. And I'm sorry to let you guys know such a downer, but, when a disaster blows up in my face, I'm like, I can't not tell you guys. You should know. I'm not perfect. I don't get to work with every god I want to work with. And sometimes when you finally do meet them, disasters happen. So, yeah. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I can't do this. She could show up in all the dreams she wants and do stuff, and it's not gonna work. So, sorry if you guys were waiting to hear about Nori, but yeah. And I had a little Segan here for companionship. I had Segan all day, and I don't know if it was Inori saying it or I was having a mental breakdown or it was Loki being Inori, but they were like, who do you think you got the foxes from? Blah, blah, blah. And who do you think urged you to go look for all this fox stuff lately. And Nori had been saying about being here because it's funnily enough foxes that it feels like a temple. And I'm like, no, this is all wrong. This is not how things are done. So yeah, I'm good. And I topped the day off with looking at the Zao Fox Village, the saddest place on earth for foxes, where they're kept in small cages, chained up and half drugged so you can take pictures with them. So yeah, I had a great day. So, and there's an Inari temple in there, and I'm like, that kills it. You have a temple. I know Inari can't control people, but I'm like, you have a temple where they force breed foxes, where they run a petting zoo, where these foxes are kept in tiny cages like they are in the fur industry, and where they're in these tiny cages. They're hospitals because they are fighting all the time because foxes are solitary animals and they have over 100 in a relatively small area because foxes have huge territories. And they sell fox parts in the thing, and it has nothing to do with going to offer them to Inori. They sell like fox fur from, I think, the Netherlands. Like, you could buy fox fur at the Fox Village. And Inori's shrine is there because you can offer fox parts to Inori, and I'm like, oh god. And as I was looking up fox rug on eBay, vaguely thinking of trying to work with her, a full fox mounted on a rug, on a backing, came up as a rug. And I was like weaving in my seat, like almost fell out of my seat. And I'm not sure who it was, but they're like, is that an actual fox? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh my god, why does it look so dead? I'm like, because it is dead, that's why. It just, you can tell the difference between death and life. I don't care how good a job somebody does with taxidermy. So yeah, for all those reasons and more, Inori won't be in my house. I'm like, I'm sorry. I try to be enlightened about the fur and everything, but no, go. No, no fox parts. No. So yeah. So sorry to ramble on, guys, but you know, sometimes you have to go with your ethics, and I'm like, if that's the kind of goddess she is, that her temple would be in a place like that, I think that's horrible. I know she can't control her people. It's like Jesus seems to have trouble controlling the Westboro crazies. I understand and appreciate that, but at the same time, you would think a fox associated goddess would be so pissed off that she like straight the staff dead or something. So it's like, well, if that's how you feel towards your sacred animals, no go. So I know that sounds hostile for me, and I feel like my personality completely changed when she came around, but when it comes to animal abuse, I'm like, no. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. You can feel free to argue on Inori's behalf, but it's not gonna help. Loki seems sad and kind of quiet, but it happens. It does. It happens. So, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.